O Mother Bhagavad Gita, I invoke your blessings so that Bhavadveshini I can easily cross over the Bhavasagar, Bhavadveshini, because you are the one that helps us cross over the samsara, Bhavadveshini. We started this last month with the first chapter. Many usually start from the second chapter onwards because that is where Bhagavan starts speaking. But one needs to understand the actual backdrop of the entire Bhagavad Gita as to what was the scene and scenario which caused the Bhagavad Gita to happen. Why was it necessary in that kind of a crucial moment for Bhagavan to address Arjuna? When you get into the battlefield, you be battle ready. On the battlefield, if you are taking a tanker, you don't start repairing a tanker, that which is crucial for your particular warfare, on the battlefield, right in front of the two armies. Arjuna was like that. He was that one single individual on whose shoulder rested the entire Mahabharata war. Though the credit in many different statistics is taken up by Bhima, because Bhima weeded out the entire Kaurava army. Of the 100, 99 of them were killed by Bhima. Then what role did Arjuna play? For Bhima to be able to reach to those 99, there was one barrier, and that was Bhishma. And that barrier was brought down by Arjuna. Just before the battlefield, he appeared as though he had all the capacity to take the attack on. But there was some kind of a hesitancy inside. And Bhagavan brought that out right in the nick of the moment and cured Arjuna. So what exactly happened we saw last month through the first chapter. In this second chapter, there are 72 slokas. The first few slokas again are attributed to Arjuna only. because that which he has started did not have a complete conclusion of thought. We will find that conclusion of thought in the initial part of the second chapter. So today we will try to quickly run through that initial portion where Arjuna is still to complete his thought. Atha dvitiyodhyayah Sankhya Yogah Sanjaya Uvacha Tam tatha kripaya vishtam Ashrupurna kulekshanam Vishidantamidam vakyam Uvacha madhusudanaha. So in the very end of the last chapter, we saw Sanjaya giving a conclusion to this dialogue that was happening between Bhagavān Krishna and Arjuna. He says, Eva muktvārjuna sankhe ratopasta upavishat visrajya sasaram chapam shoka samvigna manasaha. Shoka samvigna manasaha. This Arjuna, who appeared to be a robust warrior up until that time, but the moment he saw right in front of his eyes Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, his internal farce that he was trying to maintain as a very deep, somber personality, it cracked. And what happened? He just fell on that rathopastha upavishat. He just fell down on the ratha. And in his own words, Arjuna describes what exactly was his mental status. Gandivam sramsate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate nacha shaknomyavasthatum brahmativa cha me manaha nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. A total mental collapse. Gandivam sramsate hastat. That Gandiva which he carried very proudly, because his hand was sweating and trembling, it fell down. Sramsate hastat. Tvak chaiva paridahyate. The entire skin, tvak, paridahyate. It was as though burning. When people get this anxiety bout, depressive bouts, this is exactly clinically what happens to them. And then he says, Nimittani cha pashyami. I see bad omen. See, when the mind is not in a good status, even in the best of the conditions, we will try to find something which is not going in our favor, and we will add 2 plus 2 equal 5. Swamiji, today I started and my chappal tore. I quickly changed, got into the car tire punctured. As I was coming out, I saw that the petrol in the tank was almost empty. Everything was going against me. 90% of the situation what was said was because they were not paying keen attention, conscious attention to the earlier situations. But then when the mind is so drowned in negativities, we try to put all things that are going against us together and say that kuch to bura hone wala. Everything is going against me. Therefore the saying is, you start negative, you only see and perceive and experience only negative. Therefore, we are advised that when we start the day, start with a true And that is the most auspicious beginning. It is like telling Bhagavan, agar tum saath de to, if you are there with me, what else am I there to fear about? But even that becomes a mechanical chore. Whoever has created that word, that mechanical chore can be understood the second part in Hindi also, kaam chore. Because it is not completely with intention and intensity done in trying to connect. And when you come back home, again freshen up, get in front of Bhagavan, thank him for the day. One thing I see in Tamil Nadu, no, I don't want to comment on the politics that is happening right now. I am talking of the generic crowd. However busy they are, while they are going in their auto rickshaw or cycle or bike, if they see a temple, they may not have the time to go into the temple and say hi to Bhagavan. They will immediately stop their vehicle, get off the vehicle, remove the chappal, stand there, hold their ears crossed, quickly offer there, look at the shikhara, do namaskara, and then some good habits. That any work that we are doing, start with a positive note. Now Arjuna was already drowning in negative note, and everything that was happening around him, he started connecting as though bad luck hi kharab tha. Yes, first of all bad luck, and that too kharab. So it is double whammy for him in all sides. So to that kind of Arjuna, Sanjay is saying in the first sloka of the second chapter, tam tatha kripaya vishtam, overpowered with kripa, compassion, wrongly placed compassion of Arjuna, kripaya paraya, overwhelming, exceedingly, avishtam, overpowered by it, kripaya paraya vishtam, ashru purna kulekshanam, he was crying, tearing up. I find this hilarious because what was Arjuna known for? He was known as Parantapa. Parantapa, the one who, when he stands on the battlefield, others fear him seeing in the battle. Such Arjuna was now collapsed in that ratha and he was crying. And to add to that, what was the age of Arjuna at this particular battle? He was 89. Imagine an 89-year-old warrior. When he's got enough experience under his belt. And yet, all that experience, all that memory of that experience seems to have vanished, washed away. Ashru purna kulekshanam. Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. The one who destroyed Madhukaitava, that Bhagavan addressed Arjuna thus. See, the earlier chapter, we saw Dhritarashtra and his mindset, his psychology. We also saw how was Duryodhana. He was expecting that everybody that was on the battlefield should be ready to sacrifice their lives for his sake. Dhritarashtra was a little better than Duryodhana. It was not just for his sake. He wanted his children to get there. Though he could not get the Simhasana. Now in the same battlefield, the same scenario, Arjuna, looking at the same kind of people, he is overwhelmed with compassion and feeling guilty that he has to fight them, kill them. Ashrupurna Kulekshanam Vishidantam, such crying Arjuna, Bhagavan spoke thus. Now here starts Bhagavān Krishna's dialogue. What does he say? Shri Bhagavān Vacha Kutasva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anadyajushtamaśvadyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Shri Bhagavān Vacha. The beauty is wherever Bhagavan has spoken, it is not addressed as though Nanda Nandana Uvacha, Yashoda Nandana Uvacha, Radha Krishna Uvacha, Venugopala. He is not talking from that interactive aspect of his expression. He is talking from the highest standpoint of being that Ishvara. Highest standpoint of being that Ishvara, who is the very karma phala data. So it is not just that Krishna who was the friend of Arjuna. He was talking from the very Ishwaratva, as the Swayam Bhagavan himself was speaking. What did he say? First word that I will like to pick, because I will have to go a little tangent. Bear with me for a few minutes. He is saying to Arjuna, what is this behavior? थोड़ा उम्र का तो लिहाज करो, 90 के होने वाले हो, you're soon to become 90, and you collapse like this, shivering and crying. Anaryam. Anaryam. Arya meaning gentleman. Anarya, non-gentleman kind, meaning unworthy of your stature and your expression. This is where I will go a little tangent, because there is a reference here. When the British / German Indologists and historians introduced the concept of Aryan invading India, which later after independence they changed it to Aryan immigrated into India, bringing the language, the culture, the Vedic literature, and the entire society got upgraded, cultured, because these Aryans came from the southern Europe, which is in between Middle East and Europe. That area they came in, settled, and they were white in color. They pushed all the darker Indians down south. Therefore, all the Devi Devatas in the southern Indian temples are made up of dark stone, because it matches their skin color. All the northern Indian gods and goddesses, they are made out of marble because it was matching their skin tone. They were whitish in complexion. All kinds of theories that they developed, and for most part it was taught so vehemently into the Indian psyche that we started not just believing, after having believed what was taught, we started hating being an Indian. Being apathetic to your own culture and cultural roots is one aspect. Further deterioration is to that level wherein you not just are apathetic, you abhor the idea that I am born in such society. All because Aryan invasion / Aryan immigration system was introduced to us. Even according to their own thought pattern, the Western mindset. They said the Aryans invaded approximately about 4,000 years ago. Today what is the year? 2026. So 2,000 years before that. Total of about 4,000 years. Because they had to match and map what they had as a scripture, which said that the entire creation started about 4,000 years ago. Now here is a culture, here is a civilization which talks about tens of thousands of years of civilization. Much before what their scripture has prescribed. So how do you discount that entire civilization by saying this is not yours, you were primitive, you did not have this culture, this was given to you by those who came into your civilization, and they brought this culture to upgrade you. Even by that standard of 4,000 years. There is a simple fact that Bhagavān Krishna uses the word Arya, Anarya, and Bhagavad Gita was given by Bhagavān Krishna to Arjuna about 5,130 plus years. About 1,130 years prior to what they have claimed, we have already been having the concept of Arya and Anarya. So let us not get divided civilizationally from the standpoint of North India, South India. Dravid. Again, I am not trying to be political here, though it got wiped out. DM and AIDMK, Dravid Munnetra Kalagam. Right? South India and North India, that very usage itself is wrong and we don't grasp it. I'll give you a couple of examples why South India and North India is not a right way of using it. When you say North Korea, South Korea, is it like there is a country called Korea? There is a northern part of it and a southern part of it. They are two different countries. North America, South America. There is one country called America. The north part of it is called North America, the south part is called South America. They are two different continents with different kinds of countries in it. So just by using the word North India, South India, we are unconsciously creating two different countries. Then we would question, what else can we say? Northern India, meaning northern part of India, southern India. That would be a good nomenclature to go with. Okay, enough of the tangent. Now I will come back to Bhagavad Gita. Anaryam, unworthy of you and your behavior. What is this? Remember, he is not talking like a parent that would talk down to their own children. What are you doing this? If somebody sees, what will they think? He is not talking about what others will think. You should have a standard for yourself and you have lived up to that standard. Now with this of a behavior, you are falling short of your own standard of life. Anaryam. Asvargyam. Asvargyam. By not fulfilling your responsibilities, because when you go into a war, the Dharma Shastra says that if you win, Jitva va bhokshase mahi, you will cherish the kingdom. If you lose and you die in the battle, you will still get the Veera Swarga, because you have valiantly fought in that battlefield, therefore you would go to Swarga. Even that will be lost as an opportunity, you get neither here nor there. Aswargyam. Third reason he says, Akirtikaram. In the posterity, meaning in our age, by the time we read Mahabharata, we would all be saying, "Wo Arjuna, wo Darpok Arjuna." Now, will we say that kind of a thing? Now let us take example of Bhagavān Krishna himself. On one side, there was Jarasandha attacking Mathura. He had joined hands with Kala Yavana. So both of them on two different fronts started attacking. And when they both attacked at the same time, Bhagavān Krishna gave the job to all his ministers to shift the entire population of Mathura Nagari, because that is the time when he took a permanent citizenship of Gujarat. He shifted the entire population to Dwarka. And the last leg of that shift was yet to happen. Therefore, he divided Balarama to face Jarasandha and he himself to face Kala Yavana. And as soon as he went into the battlefield, what did he do? He looked at Kala Yavana and ordered his charioteer to say, "Run!" And he ran, he took his chariot and went northeasternward. To this day, in Gujarat, there is a temple where Bhagavān Krishna is worshipped as Ranchhodas. We did not spare even Bhagavān Krishna for an act which was not cowardly. It was a tactical maneuver to avoid the army of Jarasandha or Kala Yavana to be tracking his population, his people, his citizens. When they were shifting into Dwaraka, he said, divert their attention to somewhere else and make them run after you. It was a strategic move. And yet, what do we call Bhagavān Krishna today? In Gujarat, there is a temple. We call it as Ranchhod Rai or Ranchhod Das. Jo ran chhod ke bhag gaya ho. Now Arjuna, what about you if you run away from this battlefield? Ab tera kya hoga? Akirti karam Arjuna. You will become infamous for your cowardly act of not fulfilling your responsibility. And then he takes up one particular chord or a nerve of Arjuna, which was very, very delicate. See, there are things in our life which we do, which we are not comfortable even thinking about, let alone sharing it with people. We had to do what we had to do, we have gone through that experience, now we are where we are, but we don't want to think about that particular phase and experience that we have gone through, we want it to be hidden. Why you are not comfortable? Raaz ko raaz rehne do. And one such, that Bhagavān Krishna is very purposefully poking at. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam. Where did this kashmala, the dirt of your heart, as this dejected Arjuna, where did this come from? Vishame samupasthitam. And you have gone into this overwhelming condition that you are refusing to see what is the fact. And as soon as he talked about this kashmala, what exact kashmala is this that he touches upon in the next shloka? And I find it a little hilarious because on the battlefield in such a serious scenario, Bhagavān Krishna remembered to poke at this particular point of Arjuna's life. What was that? He says, Klaivyam masmagamah partha naitatvayyupapadyate Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam Tyaktvottishta parantapa. One such raw nerve in Arjuna's life. He did not like going through it. He does not like remembering it. Was that one particular year of his life where he was not recognizable as Arjuna. In the 1 year of staying hidden, incognito, what did Arjuna become? Brihannala. Why did he become Brihannala? Because Indra was his father. So he went to Indraloka to learn certain things. Rambha fell in love with him. She proposes to him. And what does Arjuna do? Tactfully, he says, thank you, but no thanks. He rejects her. Probably it was the first time in her life that somebody rejected her advances. She got mad. She got angry. And she gave a shapa that for the rest of your life, may you become a eunuch. Na idhar ka, na udhar ka, you become a eunuch. Then he runs to Indra. And Indra, on behalf of his son, pleads and reduces it to 1 year of Arjuna's choice. And luckily this 1 year of incognito, where they had to hide themselves, he chose to live as a eunuch named Brihannala. A eunuch meaning impotent. He is using that word here. Klaivyam mas magamah partha na etat tvayi upapadyate. Klibatvam means being an impotent. So if you want to read the actual sentence, what is Bhagavān Krishna poking at? Arjuna, I thought that you being an impotent was meant only for that 1 year, but you seem to have been dragging that impotency even till now. You still are behaving like a Klaivyam. When somebody doesn't like what has happened to them and somebody purposefully, intentionally is rubbing it against, what would be our reaction? Immediately, irrespective of who throwing it at us, we would flip and get angry. Is it not? Klaivyam mas magama partha na etat tvayi upapadyate. It doesn't suit you anymore. Give up your impotency. And he says, Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva uttishta bharata. For Swami Vivekananda ji, this particular shloka was the call for every Hindu in Bharatavarsha. Those who are apathetic towards their own culture, civilization, tradition, religion and Sanatana Dharma, those who are shying away from taking the responsibility of wearing the Dharma Lakshana in their day-to-day life, he says, we have to give up this impotent behavior of being a Hindu and stand up as a proud Bharatiya. I mean, every time I think of it from Vivekananda's standpoint, my hair stands on end. Such a beautiful interpretation of this shloka to the entire Bharatavarsha. Yes, India has become independent. Have we as Hindu become independent? Grow some steel backbone. Stand up. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam. This pathetic weakness of the heart, drop it, stand up with pride as a glorious Bharatiya. Hey Bharata, Uttishta. As soon as Arjuna heard this poking statement from Bhagavān Krishna, see, Bhagavān Krishna also chose that particular example to poke at Arjuna because he saw what was happening to Arjuna. See, when you go to a doctor with some sprain, with some, fracture, the doctor will poke and see. You will be, screaming in pain. But still the doctor has to poke and see to see what is the extent of damage. He is allowed to poke. The doctor cannot afford to be like today's parents where they have gentle parenting. He has to be merciless in trying to poke and find where exactly is the hurt, how deep is the extent is the hurt. Similarly, Bhagavan had to poke and find what exactly is the condition. Is it something that has to be taken to an emergency room, ER? Or is it something that which can be fixed here? Or is it something that which is gone case? Irreparable. Condition क्या है? What exactly has happened to this Arjuna? So he is using this psychological technique to poke at Arjuna to see is he still repairable or not repairable. If he responds to this with anger, meaning with the present whining and crying, if he is ready to quit that whining and crying to stand up and blast at me, that means there is a hope. If he continues crying further, saying, "Ab Bhagavan, yahi bacha tha. All that was left was you also calling me that. Aho mere bhagya." And he resigned to that state. Then the damage that was done was much deeper. So how does Arjuna react or respond? Arjuna says, Arjuna uvacha katham bhishmamaham sankhye dronancha madhusudana ishubhir pratiyotsyami Pujarathavadisudana. you have to imagine the scene. He turning to Bhagavān Krishna, lifting his head up and asking him, how? Katham? How do you expect me to go into this war? And who do I have to kill? Bhishma and Drona. How do you want me to do it? And what is he addressing Bhagavan as? He is addressing Bhagavan as Madhusudana in the first sentence, Arisudana in the second sentence. Madhusudana, the one who has vanquished Madhu and Kaitaba. Arisudana, the one who has eliminated all enemies. Ari means enemy. Therefore, when you address in Chinmaya Mission, when we address each other, we say Hari Om. Please pronounce that Ha properly. You cannot end up saying Hari Om. It has to be Hari Om. Hari Om means to the enemy in you, I am saluting. Whereas it should be to the Hari in you, to that Bhagavan in you, I am saluting, offering my salutations. Hari means enemy. The one who has vanquished, eliminated all enemies. Now, if Arjuna has that kind of a mental capacity to address Bhagavan with these two names, Madhusudana and Arisudana, there is an implied meaning there. You have become famous, now you are being called as Madhusudana and Arisudana. Tomorrow, people will be calling me, recognizing that I have killed Bhishma and Drona as Guru Sudana. Who are they? They are my very gurus. Katham, how do you expect me to kill them? Now, this Katham is not a question asked. Otherwise, it will become a comedy. Kya Arjuna? Bas uthao dhanush lagao baण. Katham, how? What do you mean? This is not a question, this is an objection raised. How do you expect me to kill them? They are my gurus. Ishubhihi pratiyotsyami. With these arrows, how do you expect me to shoot them down? Why? Pujarhau. They are worship worthy because they are my gurus. Are we not taught in the Vedic literature? Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. They are my acharyas. Before Drona came, it was Krupacharya. Before Krupacharya, it was Bhishma. All three of them have played significant role in modeling me, in making me who I am today. How do you expect me to kill them? Don't be ridiculous. How can I kill them and be called as Guru Sudana? Ishubhihi pratiyotsyami pujarhau arisudana. Now Arjuna, as I said, he is now reactive mode. Now in a poet's expression, he has to show the emotion as well. All that he has is a pen and few words expressing to that pen. So how does he indicate saying that this is an emotional outcry? He changes the meter of the shloka. Suddenly there is a bigger meter. And the expressive words, reactive words of Arjuna is no less than a filmy dialogue. You will see why. In fact, I would not call it filmy dialogue. All the films have borrowed their dialogues from Arjuna. It's the other way around. What is his outcry? The meter changes. Therefore, you please chant. Try chanting it in that meter. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan his emotion also expresses there. All the words that are, all the letters that are used in the last sentence are Mahaprana with a lot of emphasis given there. Bhunjiya bhogan rudhiram pradigdhan. What is he saying? Hey Mahanubhava, hey Krishna, those whom you are asking me to kill, Gurun Ahatva hi Mahanubhava, they are all Shrestha Purusha. Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Bhishmacharya, they are stalwarts. They are my gurus. Instead of killing them, this is where it becomes a much melodramatic dialogue. Instead of killing them, Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke. I would rather take to the path of renunciation and beg for food with a begging bowl in my hand and go through the streets for my livelihood. I think this is where every Indian husband got their famous dialogue. घर में कभी भी anything that happens where there is some disturbance, some argument, what is the usual dialogue? Enough of all of this. I will drop everything, go to Haridwar, take sannyas. I used to think that in Haridwar there is a committee. Every day such people, when they drop from the train or the bus, they invite them, take them immediately to Gangaji, give them sannyasa. It is only later that I understood that all this anger of going to Haridwar, Rishikesh, taking sannyasa is to the street corner, to the chai store, sip one chai, maybe puff one cigarette and come back again, shamelessly. Shamelessly only. See, Tulasidas ji's wife also scolded him. She said, instead of being so pathetic, showing your love towards me, if you had shown 10% of it to Bhagavān Rama, that whom you talk praises of, you would have Rama Darshana. Chhi, get out. More than the pride of being a husband, he had the pride of being a devotee. He left never to come back. Now Arjuna's statement is, I'll give up everything. He wanted to be our competitor, meaning sannyasi's competitor. So when I was explaining the second chapter to youngsters, so one of the youngsters said, Swamiji, I thought your lifestyle is the lifestyle where there is no insecurity of any kind of job insecurity. Arjuna seems to be threatening your job security because he wants to take to the path of sannyasa, give up everything and live on alms. Now this is the same dialogue is said in Hindi. उसका भाव अच्छा लगा. इससे तो अच्छा मैं सब छोड़ छाड़ कर दर दर भटकता हुआ भिक्षा का मैं जी लूंगा. And Bhagwan must be having a big smile on his face. Why? Arjuna is reacting. If there is a reactive mind, there is still an opportunity to repair that mind. There is a high possibility of it. And then he says the next bhari dialogue, melodramatic. Hatvartha kamamstu gurumi haiva. Having killed my gurus for the sake of artha kaman, for wealth and fulfilling the desire of becoming the king. Instead of it, bhunji बुद्धिरप्रदिग्धान. This dialogue is really very hard. Instead of seeking the wealth and enjoyment of fulfilling my desires, I would rather take to the life of bhiksha and not indulge in enjoying the food and glory and luxury of that which is soaked in the blood of my gurus. इनके खून से लथपथ ये भोग भाग्य मुझे नहीं चाहिए कृष्ण. Again, Bhagavan must be thinking, ठीक है, this fellow is reactive enough, now I can repair him. Meaning what? The earlier emotion of disenchantment and depressive mindset, he quit that to be reactive to this. So when that shift has happened by Arjuna himself, that means the depth at which this disenchantment has happened is still shallow. It can be uprooted easily. Arjuna doesn't seem to be stopping anywhere soon. What is he saying? Na chaitadvidmah kataranno gariyah yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuh yaneva hatva na jijivishamah te vasthita pramukhe dhartarashtraah na chaitadvidmah kataranno gariyah. I am at a loss, O Krishna, lost in trying to decide which one of these is greater. Yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuh. Winning this battle or losing this battle, I am not able to decide which one is greater. Both seem to be confusing. Yaneva hatva na jijivishamah te avasthitaah pramukhe dhartarashtraah. Here the glory should go to Sanjay. Why? Who is he reporting this to? Dhritarashtra. Whenever he finds an opportunity, because this is still the 10th day. The whole war went up to 18th day. This dialogue of Arjuna and Krishna which happened on the first day, he did not reveal it to Dhritarashtra on the first day. He revealed it to him after Bhishma fell for the arrows of Arjuna. So on the 10th day he is revealing all of this. So he doesn't lose an opportunity to put it across to Dhritarashtra very subtly, obviously subtly, that whenever he has to refer to Kauravas, he could have said Duryodhana ityadi, Suyodhana ityadi, but instead what does he say? Dhartarashtraah. The crookedness of your children, you are calling them crooked. But then in addressing them, what are you addressing them? Sons of, the crooked sons of Dhritarashtra. Meaning, it seems to be a genetic disorder. That crookedness which you are established in, आप शेर तो आपके बच्चे सवा शेर. There is little expansion of your own genetics. They are also equally crooked. Even after killing them, I don't think I would wish to continue living such a life. Yaneva hatva, after having killed, na jijishamaha, I would not wish to continue living. Who is it that I am asked to kill? Those crooked children of Dhritarashtra. In his words itself, he is saying that they are crooked. He is recognizing that for all these 89 years, they have done atrocities and it was born out of their sheer pure crookedness. Even though I recognize it, I think I will not fulfill my responsibility of standing up in this war. Teva sthitaha pramukhe bharata rashtraha. The seemingly shattered and broken Arjuna, he recognizing his own bhava. Sanjaya called the condition of Arjuna as kripaya paraya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. The very first sloka of second chapter. That is Sanjaya's observation of Arjuna's personality. That he was overwhelmed with compassion, he lost sight of his responsibility. In Arjuna's own words, what is he saying? He says, Karpanya dosho pahatasva bhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me sishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Many people consider this as the shloka which indicates that Arjuna has completely surrendered unto Bhagavan. My personal take on this is here it appears in the flow that he is talking vehemently reacting to Bhagavān Krishna after having been called as a Clivier. It is a reaction and not a surrender complete. The actual surrender of this personality called Arjuna seems to happen in the 11th chapter after he has seen the Vishwarupa, and that too in the Vishwarupa when he sees Kala Swarupa. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravriddha. When Bhagavan himself explains what form I have taken, when Arjuna asks, what is this terrifying form? He says, I am the very form of time which consumes everything. Time doesn't spare anyone. Kala, good people, bad people, functional, dysfunctional, doesn't matter. Everybody is merged into time. And that Swarupa when he shows, shaken up out of its stupidity, first time he recognizes Bhagavan as verily that Ishvara, not merely the friend charioteer who is driving his chariot. And there he surrenders unto Bhagavan. Namo namaste sahasrakritvaha. In that act of sheer pure surrender, he wanted to offer something but he had nothing else to offer other than himself. And therefore, sahasrakritva namaskaraha. He several times fell at the feet of Bhagavan seeking refuge at his feet. The true surrender happens In the 11th chapter, what is taught to him? What is that chapter called? That is where his transformation happened. So to him, what was taught in the 12th chapter? Bhakti Yoga. To the one that has surrendered, Bhakti is given. Here it appears as though in the name of surrenderance, he is challenging Bhagavan. His tone appears that way. Yes, I do agree. Karpanya dosho pahatasva bhava. That I am deeply inflicted with kripanata, miserly, cowardly attitude. Yes, if that be taken so. Pruchhamitvam dharma sammuda chetaha. I ask you with a confused mind. Dharma sammuda chetaha. What to do, what not to do, should I not do? Should I indulge in this, fulfill this responsibility or not? I am thoroughly confused. Though I want to leave and run away from this responsibility, you say that I should stand up and fight this war. I do not want to fight this war. Considering that I am confused, dharma sampuda chetaha pruchhami, I am asking you. And if you say that for asking you I have to surrender unto you, here you go. I also surrender unto you. Shadhimam tvam prapanna. One thing, even in his reactive, angry mode, that is what makes Arjuna Vishada, not Roga, but it makes it Yoga. That even in that angry outburst, reactive to Bhagavān Krishna's words of having been called as a klaibiya, impotent, what is Arjuna asking? He says, Yat shreyaha syat tanme bruhi. Whatever is shreshtatara, give that as a guidance and show me the way. Even in that angry mode. This is where his samskara appears. Samskara is not an act that we put on in front of public that I am a very decent gentleman. It is an act that naturally occurs when nobody is observing. It is an act that naturally occurs when it is a sudden outburst. Two incidents that I would relate here to highlight the samskara of Arjuna. A very deep, profound samskara. That even in that desperate moment, he is not asking for anything else other than Shrestha. When Vibhishana wakes up early in the morning while Hanumanji is searching for Sita ji, and Hanumanji happens to be at the window observing Vibhishana, Vibhishana clueless that there is somebody observing him, as he wakes up, he is taking the name of Bhagwan, Ram, 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 and gets up. When your alarm goes off early in the morning, you set that alarm for yourself to wake up. When the alarm goes off, how do we get up? Thank you alarm माता, आपने कष्ट कर कर हमें प्रातः काल जगा दिया है. You will search for that. There is such a reactive pattern. What was Vibhishana getting up with? Rama Nama. How intensely must he be devoted, dedicated, that the samskara of Rama Nama has gone so deep that even while waking from his sleep, automatically Tenali Rama, you all know Tenali Rama and his stories, right? So Tenali Rama, when he was with the Krishna Devaraya in Vijayanagar Empire, there is a poet that comes. He could speak about 24 plus languages. Not only that he could speak 24 languages, he could write poetry, he could speak in poetry in any one of the languages, he could write any of the script. So the challenge that he threw to the king and his courtiers was, find my native language. Because he appeared so fluent in all languages, it was being difficult to identify. And he also threw a claim saying that up from north I am traveling down, up until now nobody has ever found, they have lost the bet. Obviously, who is given the task? Tenali Rama is given the task. Having been tasked to find and identify his language, what does Tenali Rama do? Early in the morning, he wakes up earlier than usual. Must have been December, January time. Hampi area. December, January, it is a little cold. So the royal palace where he was given accommodation, there must have been some kind of a fountain. So he takes a bucket, fills it up with that cold water of the early morning, goes to this guest room and without waking him up, splashes this water on his face. What comes out is his Ashtottara Shatanamavali in his native language. Don't ask me to explain what Ashtottara Shatanamavali. Choicest words. In which language? In his mother tongue, because when unassumingly it expresses, that samskara alone comes out. Similarly, even in this kind of a depressive, dejected mindset, the greatest attribute of Arjuna is his samskara in display, that he was not asking for a shortcut, he was asking for Shreya, indicating that Arjuna also in Gurukula was not like any other student, that when the message or the lessons were given, he slept through the classes. He was intently listening to it. He also knows that in Kathopanishad there are two parts which are indicated, Shreya and Preya. Shreya, that which is of absolute good, and Preya, that which is pleasurable. In today's language, if I have to translate, there is the path of right, and then there is a path of easy. And what do we choose at every intersection when we have to make a decision? We take the easy way out. Even in that kind of a condition, what is Arjuna asking? I am not seeking pleasurable. I am seeking clarity about that which is the absolute correct path. Yat shreyaha syat, whatever is shrestha, nishchitam bruhitam me. Nishchitam, confirmly, confidently show me that path alone. Can you? Now when you put that word can you at the end, what does it indicate? Consider that Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam, Prapannam Prapatti. Consider that I have surrendered myself to you. Now tell, show me. Can you show me my path? It is more like a challenge thrown rather than a complete surrenderance shown. So Bhagavan must have thought, this is a good challenge to accept. Why? Why is it a good challenge to accept? Because it is far better than the other option of Arjuna not being on the battlefield and resigned from this battlefield. This little repair that has to be done, that is possible. That can be quickly repaired. Arjuna is still not stopping. He says, concluding his thought, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachhokamuchhoshanamindriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatnamruddham Rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat. Hey Krishna, I do not see a method to remove this dukkha which is completely eating me up from inside. This confusion that is eating me from inside, I do not find a method to come out of it. Yat shokam uchhoshanam indriyanam. This shoka, this misery that I am going through, it is burning me from inside out. All the sense organs are terribly in irritation, burning away. Eyes are burning, ears are burning. Have you ever gone through that kind of anger or rage, just as an emotion, wherein you will feel your entire face heated up, that you are caught up in that anger with such vehement emotion that your ears start burning, your tip of the nose starts burning, your skin on the face starts burning. Arjuna is saying, Yachhokam uchhoshanam indriyanam. All the indriyas are burning. Avapya bhuma vasapatna mruddham rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam. Having attained the success so-called of the rajya, the property, the wealth, the glory, and if this dukkha is still there, what good is that success when my heart is not content and is not at peace? इतने दुख में भी ना बढ़िया चीज बोला. What is he saying? If my mind is not at peace, even though I may have all the glories, I will not be in a position to enjoy those glories. Supposing your mind is thoroughly agitated, your best dish that you love is served to you. Do you think that will interest you at that point? I mean, you might say, fridge में रख दो बाद में देखूंगा. But at that point you will not have the mindset to cherish it. So with such a disturbance, how do you expect Bhagavan that winning after taking the entire kingdom and then enjoying the kingdom? I don't think I can afford enjoying this kingdom. So therefore, if you think that you are right and you can show me the way, try showing me the way. It's a challenge thrown. And to support that logic, look at the 3rd chapter, first 2-3 shlokas. What does he say to Bhagavan? After listening to the entire Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 72 shlokas, it is like the synopsis of entire Bhagavad Gita. Whatever is given as a concept in this Bhagavad Gita is what is expounded in the 2nd chapter, is what is expounded in the rest of the chapters. All those pointers are already given in here. After listening to it, what does he say to Bhagavan? He says, Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhi So definitely a challenge thrown. Now how does Bhagavan answer this? That we will see tomorrow. One little announcement before we wind up for today. This year we are celebrating 75 years of Chinmay mission, Chinmay movement. It started in Pune in the year 1950. So this year we have had several events which are going throughout the year. Like right here in Hyderabad we did Bhagavad Gita chanting with so many people in NTR Stadium. Parallelly, there was another event, a bigger event which was happening where entourage of vehicles carrying Gurudev's Pratima and his artifacts which he used personally, and it is going through all the states, all the districts, almost every city in Bharatavarsha. North, east, west, south, they are traveling and they would be covering from Sankranti till the October, where we have a grand finale in Delhi, in Bharat Mandap. They will be traveling about anywhere between 35,000 to 38,000 kilometers. So, in their trip, they will be passing through Hyderabad on the 24th, 25th and 26th. So, mark your calendars. 24th, this entire Yatra, Amrit Yatra, will be in Shamshabad, where we have our Chinmay Vidyalaya near the airport. 25th, we will have grand celebrations here. So, first I would ask you to mark your calendars so that you can participate. Second is, in a day or two before this yajna ends, before this discourse ends, you will all be given the leaflets and pamphlets for your notice, as well as my request, because most of you have come from nearby. So take a handful and in your locality explain it to those people so that you can invite them also to participate. On what day? 25th. So there will be morning event, then there will be a late evening, and there will be some cultural event happening in the outside there. So we will have a huge day celebration. So all of that will be given in the pamphlet. So you take it and you also distribute and explain and inspire them to come along. Third, on that day there will be a procession. We have to still work out with the police and take a permission and other things which our volunteers will do. That day I would want you to participate as well as volunteer for both morning and evening. Will you all be ready to? Thank you. So that will be given to you in a day or two. So mark your calendars and let's participate in welcoming Gurudev and make this celebration even grand with your presence. We'll stop now. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari